So the pasta was a little on the stiff side, but I usually won't eat it, but I really don't feel like heating it back up. So I let it sit inside of the bowl, the Tupperware bowl, so that way it could oh, Aquaman's coming out. So that way it could just in general like steam cook itself, if you know what I'm saying. Like usually when you cook food, if you top it and leave it alone, a lot of the times it will continue to cook. So I'll try it again in maybe 30 minutes or whatever. But it does taste good. The sauce is really yummy. I don't feel intoxicated, so I don't think they use any real vodka or alcoholic vodka, rather, because they probably have used vodka, but they probably took the alcohol out of it. Thank God. So I don't drink. But anyway, my eyes itchy. I gotta put my eye drops in. Don't rub your eyes like that. I have to not do that. You could really mess up your eyes. Just try not to. But ooh, it caught me off guard. It was like my eyes itching like under there. Anywho, but the yams. So I'm thinking, because it said yams in syrup, I'm thinking like how Dole has pineapples in heavy syrup, and when you taste it, it's just like, oh, it's delicious. So I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be sweet. When I went to go try those yams, I was just like, where's the sugar? Oh, now you gotta understand. My grandma, one of my grandmas is from the South, the deep South, slave South. Like, her mother was an actual slave on a plantation. So she cook, and my mom cook, and so I cook, you know. So I'm like, it don't taste like mine. Of course, I wasn't expecting it to, but I expected it to at least be sweet. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there's certain ingredients you gotta make when you're making it the right way. Anywho, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what can I do to spruce it up? And then I remembered that I had this instant oatmeal, which comes with maple and brown sugar. And I was just like, hey, I was like, that gives me 2 out of 4 of the, no, 4 or 5, maybe. I would say 2 out of maybe 5 or 6 other ingredients that I like to add to make it really pop. So I dumped it in there, mixed it all around. I smushed up some of the yams, and I topped it so that way, because the water was the syrup water, because I didn't put water in it, I just used the natural syrup from the can. It was still very hot. So I was just like, okay. And turned out to be really good. So I just created me a whole nother snack that I'm definitely gonna be buying them yams more often. I usually get Bruce's yams. No disrespect, shop right, but I usually get Bruce's yam because that's a family tradition. But, you know, I just wanted like a can, like, you know, like I said, you could look around. I do got this big old refrigerator, but I don't use it at all because it's dirty, and it's just gonna run up electricity, if you ask me, and I don't need it. I don't see the purpose of me putting stuff in there, because it's gonna make me want to have a pot and pan and all that other stuff. Like, so I don't do all of that. I go get what I need and call it a day. And mostly I eat out until further notice. All right, well, I just wanted to share with y'all the outcome. Next time, I'm not gonna cook the pasta in a microwave for, what did I do? 3 minutes, and then another then another minute. They're not like oodles and noodles pasta. Even though they're angel hair pasta, you have to still cook them at least 8 minutes or 10 minutes. So, and plus I had a lot in there, but I figured since I filled the bowl up to the top that the water would get through, but it didn't soak in the way that it would have if I would have boiled it on the stove. So next time when I'm cooking it, I will cook it for longer. and so it will really penetrate the pasta and be able to give me a more looser pasta texture, because right now it's not gooey, but it's like, it kind of reminds me of like when you buy pasta that's already canned. It's kind of like, it's not overcooked, but it kind of reminds me of that. It's not, it's actually still a little on the tough side. Not very tough, but to me, you know, when I was a kid, when I was coming up, I used to just bite the pasta and eat it, until my mom caught me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Huh?" Because I just used to like the crunch, you know. It's just like and just be crunch it, you know. But once my mom caught me, I guess she was wondering who was opening up the pasta. Me. Anyway, let me get back to my show, because yeah, this show is interesting. It's almost to the end. This one is the Law and Crime Network's 6 wild traffic stops that went 0 to 100 really fast, caught on body cam. And it features Ice-T when he was out in Hudson County, New Jersey, which I was just like, I didn't know, you know, I'm thinking he's still on the West Coast, you know, thinking he on the West Coast, you know, but I forgot he does do a lot of filming. So I think he's on the East Coast doing filming, and he probably has, you know, made his residence in or near the area. But that ain't none of my business. I ain't trying to be all up in his business. It's just that it was him going to put his papers on his car that he hadn't used in a while, and it just got a little out of bounds. I would say it got out of bounds. But I know how he feels, because I mean, I used to collect cars too, and it's just that, you know, when you have a lot of cars, well, I still collect cars. I just haven't seen any that I want to collect so far right now. But you know, like when you have lots of cars, and especially if your work doesn't really require you to have to drive around, of course it's going to sit and the paperwork's going to expire. But I see both sides. I see how the officer, you know, is like, you know, just because you're a celebrity, we can't like just give you a pass. You're still breaking the law. But at the same time, I see where Ice-T was coming from, where he's like, come on, like, I'm going to do my paperwork to get that done. But, you know, it is what it is, you know. You know, it happens. It happens because you just have to understand that, you know, law abiding is law abiding to some people. You know, some people, they don't look at it and say, oh, well, you get a pass because of this, that, and the third. And some people look at it like, nah, you good with me. Like, yeah, you all right with me. Like, it's really not that serious for me. I don't need, you know. But the sergeant was obviously like feeling like, oh, be a little more lenient. But the officer was mad because he said, nah, he called me an asshole. And, you know, I guess it was more so like, well, since you are not going to be decent toward me, I'm going to have to treat you the way I would treat any other person who could be violating such similar restrictive laws. But, you know, there's different ways he could have went about it, you know, but again, just in general, like most people would be thinking like, yeah, I could just ride right there, get it done, problem solved. But you gotta, I always tell people this, and this is not to him because I'm pretty sure he knows, but just to other people, you gotta understand that police officers and law enforcement's job is to watch you. They get paid to watch you. They get paid to look for things that are suspicious, or, you know what I'm saying, you riding a swanky car and, you know what I'm saying, and you got on your hip hop clothes. I know that's profiling, but you know what I mean, he might have thought like, I hope this isn't a drug dealer trafficking drugs in the neighborhood, and he might have just said, let me run those tags just to ensure I don't want something like that to slip through the cracks. And it turns out like, you're a whole celebrity, my bad, but You gotta follow the rules too. And then he's like, you're an asshole. And then he's just like, now I'm about to be an asshole. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I be watching these shows. Because I study mental health, and what I've been doing mostly is like watching to see like the different reactions that people experience during the whole situation, and not even just the people who are being apprehended or being, talked to by the officers, but the officers as well, what they're enduring. Because I'm just looking at the whole human aspect of, I'm like, whoa. Just like I said, I watch these videos and these people be like screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and barking. And barking is when you say something repetitively with the same tone, and it's maybe can go mild to aggressive, or whatever. But I hear these people barking and I just be like, I don't understand how they could tolerate that. No wonder why a lot of law enforcement, are diagnosed with PTSD. I'm like, I would have had PTSD on my first day. I'd have been like, bitch, excuse my language, but get me some medicine, because these people driving me crazy. My hat goes off to y'all is what I'm saying, because I'm just seeing tidbits. I mean, I ain't even getting to see some of the more intense things that officers really go through. These are just things that are, I guess, safe for the internet to see. I'm pretty sure that they entail way more. Same thing with, like, sometimes I try to watch jail or cops, shows that show what correctional officers go through, which I always thought police officers and correctional officers were the same. But one day I was coming out of a business, I won't say where and all that, but a correctional officer managed to break into conversation with me, and he said something. I can't quite remember what he said, but I said, well, you could go to the police station. There's a police station nearby. You can maybe go talk with them. And he was like, we don't like the police. So I was thinking that he was a criminal. At first, I was just like, criminals always talk about how they don't like the police. I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking that in my head. But then he's like, well, I'm a correctional officer, and correctional officers and police, we don't like each other. And I was just thinking to myself, like, why wouldn't correctional officers and police not like each other when their due diligence is to clear the world of people who just don't want to follow the rules? And so basically what he said was, they're the ones who bring us the inmates. So he's like, so you get it? So I was thinking to myself, like, not really. And I've been invited to be a CO many times since I was in my early 20s. I've been asked to be a CO, and I have friends that are COs, business partners that are COs, people that we work together and they went into that career. I have friends and business partners that went into being law enforcement, and they moved up to state trooper level and things of that nature. So for me, I'm like, I couldn't imagine those two entities of people, because we all were in the same group at one point, same work environment. I couldn't imagine them saying, oh, I don't like that one because they're the ones that brings us the criminals. So I think that's something that maybe through documentaries I might be able to see what the CO meant by that, because even though he gave me a simile, he gave me a metaphor, he gave me something to help delegate it in my mind, it still hasn't clicked. Even I literally keep thinking, like, what does he mean by that? Like, they're the ones that bring us the criminals. And I'm just like, yeah, but if they're criminals, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know if he was trying to say it feels like a setup. Y'all see me messing with this eye. I gotta put my eye drop in. But I don't know if he was trying to insinuate that it's more like a setup, or if he was trying to insinuate that they just pick any old body. I just don't know. I was trying to figure it out without asking, because of course I didn't want to get into a deep conversation about that. I was just like, I'm neither here nor there, because at the end of the day, I guess with certain industries you have to actually be in the industry to quite understand it, you know. But if I do go into being a correctional officer, there's two things that have kept me from wanting to do it. One, at least for the state that I'm from, one is I don't like the whole mace thing where you have to get the concentrated pepper spray and all that stuff in your eyes. And that's what I told the CEO. He was like, "Oh, just put milk in your eyes before you do it. You'll be fine." I'm like, I'm not putting no getting animal blood in my eyes. The fuck, bitch, I don't fuck around and come out blind. I have sensitive skin, so it's not something that I want to voluntarily do. But it's not for me. That right there, I understand. They're like, well, we do that to help officers and people who deal with the public learn patience and discipline to where you don't abuse, the tools that you're given to discipline them or to minimize hurt and harm for other people or yourself. And then two is they said when you work as a CO, you have to eat the inmate food that they eat. And I'm like, what you mean, the commissary, the snacks and stuff? Because if not, I ain't eating that. I heard they said it's nasty food. I don't eat no nasty food. I'm like, if you gotta eat nasty food every day, how? I'm like, because I have to step in there and be like, look, inmates, I'm about to bring y'all some seasoning. I'm about to. It would make me want to be, and then it's like it would make me be more on their side than doing my job. So it's kind of like, because I'm sorry, I'm a foodie, but my food has to be good. My food has to be good. If I gotta eat something that's nasty, I'm gonna be like, what y'all want me to do? Turn into sticks and bones? I'm a foodie. My food needs to be good. It needs to be seasoned and it needs to be good. Please and thank you. So I personally was just like, and I've been watching some of these shows, and I seen like when the people are misbehaving, they're put into solitary confinement and stuff. They get this meal they say that is made to make them not want to misbehave because it's so yucky and so bland of a flavor. And I'm just like, I don't think they would give that to the COs, while for lunch or whatever. But I'm just thinking like, bleh, yuck. I would probably just think about it every day. Like, I hope they don't make something yucky. But anyway, those are the two reasons why. Other than that, as far as helping bring people that are in the criminal society, help them, realize their potential, and something that maybe a lot of criminals maybe haven't been treated. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, but I don't really know. I don't have the same mindset like that, so I can't really. But that's what I watch these things for, to see like what is the missing element, or is there a missing element? Is it just that these people just get a thrill or a kick out of being mischievous, or being maybe they just get a thrill out of, I just did something that the world says I'm not supposed to do. So my mind is more leaning towards that. Like, I just think that and then you find out that some people really do have mental illness, not mental health problems, but mental illness, where they are really, really, really debilitated in their mind, to where they really need to get psychiatric assistance. It's nothing on a psychological level. It's all psychiatric, and it is something where they need to be institutionalized outside of a jail environment. So, I just pay attention to stuff like that. So, anyway, Aquaman's coming out again. Man, Aquaman. Oopsie.
I am the protector of the deep.
Oh, it's coming. It's already out. I was about to say, I could have sworn I saw Aquaman in the movie. That's why I was like, it's coming out again. All right, my show is on. I gotta go.